Alright, so we've got the Cereal Box project. This is the worksheet that is in Google Classroom. And there's 3 sections to this. There's the 10 facts that you need the food web, and then you've got this bottom interactions among living things. It's the bottom section of the back. This is the bulk of what you need to do for your assignment for your cereal box. So once you have these three things together, most of the rest is going to be pretty easy. It's going to be getting some pictures and stuff like that for a few of them. But yeah, once you have these 3 things done, the rest of it's mostly organizing. So here we go. When you first get this, and if you're doing your 10 facts first, because you don't have to do it in any kind of order, but if you're doing the 10 facts first, I would really recommend doing something like this. So like I just came up with a silly topic. The Earth is round. And then I found a source for it. And then I said the Earth is flat. And I found it's in the same source. So I'm citing, it's like a bootleg way, not a bootleg way, but just a very easy, non-official, not legitimate way of citing. So what this does is this tells me if the teacher says, hey, the Earth is not flat, then I can say, hey, the article here says it is. This seems to be a legitimate article or a legitimate website or whatever. So this is how I would do it at first. You can either, like I said, you can put a word down and link to it, or you can do what I did over here, which was highlight all 3 of these, and they all came from Britannica.com with this part. Eventually, when you put this on your cereal box, you're going to have these little superscripts up there. This is the way that you're going to do in-text citing, and I'll show you that in just a second. But again, this is what you would do first, just so you know, hey, this is where that source came from. Keep record of somehow. I don't care how you do it. Somehow keep record of where you got it from. And then eventually, once you're done with this worksheet and you're done with everything, then you'll go back and before you put this on your box, you're going to have to change it to some kind of in-text citations. So let's look at that. This is another document, the Cereal Box project. This box over here to the left, this is a drawing. I personally would not use this. Some students have found this to be helpful, but I personally, if I was a student and I saw this, I would just delete it. Delete it completely. This is how I would use it. This seems to be much easier to use. On this one, you have to double click on it, open up this thing, and then you start typing in here. On this one, I've shown you how to do this. You just click Insert, Table, and you click one little box. Not the 2x1, but the 1x1. And then you just make it to the size you want. The helpful thing about this is, if your cereal box, if you measure your cereal box and the side of it is 2 inches, then you can move this ruler. See what I did? I clicked on it. Oh, that's not the right one actually. I'm going to click on the box down here where it makes this little funny cursor, and now I can move it left and right, and I can put it exactly where I want to on the ruler and let it go. Let's say move it over here to 3 inches. Right inside 3 inches, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to say right inside 7, or if I said 2 inches. If the box is 2 inches, then I would do this right here. Because the box, you've got 1 inch, 2 inches. And it's going to be a little bit short. You can do a little bit more. But you make it to whatever width that you need to. And then you're going to do in-text citations. And we watched a Brain Pop video in class. But the gist of it is that instead of putting a actual link like you did when you were kind of doing your rough draft of the 10 facts, you're going to write a little number 1. And there's a proper way of doing this if we weren't putting this on a cereal box, and that includes going to insert and footnote and then adds a footnote down here, but we're not doing that. We're going to just kind of make this work. So you're going to put a 1 if this is your first source. You're going to put a 1 and then highlight it and push Control period, and that makes what's called a superscript, kind of like an exponent. And so what that does is when you read the word the earth, or the sentence the earth is round, you see there's a little 1 there. That tells you to look at the bottom for number 1. And down here I have put a MLA formatted citation. And you can use something like EasyBib if you'd like to do that, or you can find your own, or you can, there's very hard ways to do it, but EasyBib is a pretty easy way to do that. I put in the website, I put in the name of the website, the name of the page, all those things, and then I just pasted that down here. You don't have to have 5 or 6 sources. You can have 1 or 2 or 3 sources, and that's fine. But for every single source, you need a number down here so that when I read this right here, I can tell. So let's say you said iguanas eat lions. I'm going to look at that fact and say, that's not true. I need to see that. Or if I think that your fact was just plagiarized and you just copied it word for word, I need to be able to go to So my recording stopped there. I think I'll pick it up where it was. You need a footnote, which is what this is. You can make it yourself. Just type the number in, highlight it, push Control period, and it will make that into a footnote. And then you actually go put your footnote down here, and you do the same thing for this little one. You make a footnote, type the number 1, highlight it, and push Control period, and it makes it into a little tiny one. And then number 2, for every single source you have, you need to have a footnote. So you can have 2 or 3 sources, that's fine. Or you can have 10 sources. But for every source you have, you need to have one of these. And this would go at the bottom of your side, the side of your cereal box where these are. Or it could go on the actual bottom of the box itself. So it doesn't matter. Either one of those is fine as far as where you put it. But you do need to have this somewhere. So you need to have all of your sources. So this one you would do the same thing, and you would type out your source. So that's the 10 facts. Now again, this doesn't have to be done for your worksheet, but this is eventually this is what your 10 facts are going to need to look like. So that's 10 facts. It can be in this format for the actual worksheet to turn it in. The food web, I would go and I would open up a Google Slides, because Google Slides is a very easy place to move things around and to draw arrows and stuff like that. You can also format things just a lot easier in Google Slides. So you're going to look at your rubric and see what exactly you need. Let me pull the rubric over here. Look at your rubric and see what you actually need for your food web. Food web is right here at the top section. See what you actually need. Look down here at the food web. See what you need, and then make your food web on here. And here I did kind of 2 different things. I got a picture of a rabbit, did an arrow, got a picture of a fox, wrote rabbit herbivore, fox carnivore, and so that would suffice. That would be okay. I think it's pretty obvious that this version looks a lot better. I changed I moved the boxes until it kind of stuck to exactly the size of the picture. I moved the picture up to the thing. I centered it. I changed the color of the font. I moved the font, the actual words up there. I changed the size of the font. I did all that. Also, I'll go ahead and show you that. I did it white, and then I did format options, drop shadow, and that puts a little bit of a shadow on there so it's easy to see. And I did the similar thing for the fox. I moved the fox, the words over here, did it in the middle, up and down, and left and right. I made this as small as it needed to be. And then I actually tried to find a color that was in the picture to match. And so I went up here, found a color that was in the picture, and tried to match it to that. And that would have been fine. I think I also changed the lettering, or the color of the letters. So, also I zoomed in. I forgot to do that. I cropped this picture. So I double-clicked, and cropped the picture so it was mostly just the animal. So I did all those things, and I made it look like this, and I also increased the size of the arrow. I put it up to 3 or 4 font. It's normal, or 3 or 4 weight is what it's called. It is normally pretty good. But yeah, so there's that. So I got the food. Oh, and once you're done, just do a screenshot. You can do a screenshot on your Chromebook and copy and paste that screenshot over to here, and paste it in that spot. This, again, does not have to look perfect to be put on the worksheet. I just want to see that you have made a food web. It does need to look really good on the cereal box itself, but on this document it does not have to be perfect. And then down here at the bottom, this is easier part. There's not a whole lot of formatting. You just need to have 2 producers: carnivore, herbivore, omnivore, decomposer, predator, prey, competition, symbiosis, 2 abiotic factors, and the 2 easiest ones are going to be temperature and rainfall. And if you have extra credit, you can go ahead and put that on there as well. So this is what you have to have for this worksheet: 10 facts about the biome, food web, and have all of these things listed. You're going to need pictures. If you look at your rubric, I believe you'll need pictures for each of these, so you might want to put that on here as well. But as far as getting a grade for this, you just need the 10 facts with a source somehow shown, your food web, paste it on here, and then each of these just kind of list it out, and you can find pictures for them later. So that's what you need for this assignment. Make sure that you get that done. You put that in Google Classroom, or however it is that I've communicated to you to turn it in.